Sunday, May 5, 1878. The New York Times. The Newtown Creek Nuisance. What the Board of Health say on the subject, the bone-boiling business not complained of. The intolerable stenches with which the residents of our uptown streets and avenues have been afflicted have been and are now being made the subject of daily attention by the Board of Health. The sanitary inspectors on Professor Chandler's staff have carefully inspected the slaughterhouses and rendering yards on the west side between 30th and 45th Streets, and those on the east side between 43rd and 48th Streets, including the bone-boiling establishment of Rafferty and Williams, to which particular attention was called, and the large manure dump at 45th Street. They report that they find no smells injurious to health in any of the places mentioned at either side of the city. The proprietors of the various places have, they report, complied with all the requirements of the sanitary code and point to the fact that no complaints have been received from residents of the localities mentioned as an evidence of the truth of this assertion. The only smell discovered by them was that of boiling lard, emanating from the rendering establishments. But this, while it may be unpleasant, is by no means unhealthy, and cannot therefore be proceeded against as a violation of the sanitary laws. The officers of the Board of Health are decidedly of opinion that the stenches complained of come from the rendering yards and fertilizing establishments on Newtown Creek, where the proprietors carry on the manufacture of the same products which rendered Hunter's Point intolerable. Enoch O. Coe, who was the proprietor of one of the largest establishments at Hunter's Point, was indicted some time ago for maintaining a nuisance, but on promising to abate the nuisance and remove his entire works to Barren Island, the district attorney did not press the prosecution. Coe did remove from Hunter's Point as stipulated, but only to establish himself on Newtown Creek. There seems to be no doubt from the investigation of the Board of Health that the stenches complained of in New York have their origin in this locality. In manufacturing fertilizers, sludge acid is obtained from the Standard Oil Works, which, by the way, are considered by some even a greater nuisance than the fertilizing manufactories, and mixed with decayed fish and flesh and all other sorts of offal. The refuse of this filth is discharged into Newtown Creek, whence it readily finds its way into the East River, covering the water thickly with a greasy, poisonous substance, the odor of which, when an east wind blows, sweeps over New York City, causing the intolerable stenches complained of. These facts were presented by the Board of Health to District Attorney Phelps, who laid them before the grand jury and procured the indictment of Messrs. Edward Clark, Enoch O. Coe, and John and James Preston, all proprietors of fertilizing manufactories, rendering yards, and bone-boiling establishments on Newtown Creek. The offense of maintaining a nuisance being only a misdemeanor, the indicted parties have not been arrested, but have been notified to attend at the district attorney's office and give bail to appear for trial. Nothing so far has been laid before the grand jury in relation to the slaughterhouses and rendering yards on the North and East Rivers, but should they be shown to be nuisances, they will, of course, be dealt with by the sanitary and criminal officials in a similar manner to the establishments on Newtown Creek. It is probable that some action will be taken by the Board of Health in relation to some manufactories on the Jersey Shore, of which complaint has been made. A petition signed by 137 citizens of the West Side has been prepared for presentation to the Board of Health, protesting against the stenches on the North River. It was to have been presented to the board yesterday, but for some reason not explained, the petitioners did not put in an appearance.